Grab your ball and come to lie supine. You'll hug one knee into your chest and taking it across the body, placing it on the ball. Make sure you're bracing your abs as you move into this deep twist for the lumbar. Arms are stretched out in a T, opening up the front of the shoulders. You're looking away from the knee, and we're breathing, contracting our transverse abdominis to support the spine twist. Inhale through your nose, pull the belly button in towards the spine, lift up on the muscles that stop your stream of pee, and fog a mirror with your exhale. Inhale through your nose, pull the belly button in towards your spine, bracing the abs. Exhale the air out. Your exhale should allow you to sink deeper into the twist. Try to keep your shoulders down your back, your sternum reaching towards your back body so you don't pop the ribs forward, disengaging in the core. One more breath here. Inhale through the nose, pull the navel in towards the spine, lift up on those muscles that stop your stream of pee, and fog a mirror with your exhale. Let's take it to the other side. Setting up, making sure to brace the abs as you move into this deep twist. You can always cushion the knee up higher with extra pillows or books, whatever elevation you need. Grab things in your house to bring that knee up to a comfortable position where you feel a nice release and stretch in the low back, but you're not feeling pain. If at any point you feel pain, make sure you're bracing and engaging the transverse abdominis, the deepest layer of your core. Inhale through the nose, pull the belly button in, brace the abdominals as if you're going to be punched in the gut, and exhale the air out. Inhale through the nose, pull the belly button in, hold it in, lift up on the muscles that stop your stream of pee, hold the lift, sustain it as you fog a mirror with your exhale. We'll move out of this twist, bringing the ball under our pelvis to elevate it, making sure it's high enough that you can take your pointer fingers to the bony protrusions on the hips, the ASIS, and guide them down, creating lumbar extension with your abdomen pulled in and the lower pelvic floor muscles lifting up. So we're going to exhale, firming our abdominals to move into deep lumbar extension from the pelvis, and we'll inhale back to a neutral pelvis, guiding the ASIS, the bony protrusions of the hips, down and up, as if they were suspenders that you were loosening and tightening. Exhale down, bracing the abs. Inhale up to neutral. Exhale down, bracing the abs. Inhale back to neutral. Understanding the optimal pelvic position for you with flat back posture is important. Often we see a lot of chronic low back pain due to the excessive pelvic flexion position and overactivity in the calves and the hamstrings. We're going to counter that with some lumbar extension, which should alleviate the back pain and really open up the back of the legs, strengthening the front of the legs, the quads, and the hip flexors. From here, place both hands down by your side and float one leg up to tabletop. Knee should track right over the hip. The other foot, I want you to keep grounded on the floor. Reach the tailbone away from you, accentuating that lumbar extension. Allow the sternum to reach towards the spine, closing the front ribs. Plug the shoulders down the back. We're going to bicycle this single leg here. Inhale, prepare, abs brace. Exhale, bicycle the leg. Each time you run out of air, you pause wherever the leg is. You inhale through your nose, breathing laterally into the rib cage. Brace the abdominals and exhale the air out, beginning your bicycle again. Until you run out of air, then you inhale, brace the abs, lifting in and up on the muscles that stop your stream of pee, and circling that leg. Lots of energy, lots of length. Feel free to dorsiflex the foot as you do this. This will help combat the plantar flexion in the ankles. I'd prefer, if anything, you either keep the feet relaxed or dorsiflexed. Don't point the feet. We don't want to work in plantar flexion when that's a constant position that the forward leaning from flat back posture puts you in. Let's switch sides, using your abs to brace and lift the other leg up. Pause to inhale, move on your exhale. We're teaching the body that your exhale is your effort. That's where we're going to place the effort of all movement, and we're always going to support the movement with the contraction of the transverse abdominis, bracing those abs to keep the low back safe. From here, we're going to finish up our last set, put the foot down, lift the pelvis up, slide that ball out. We'll bring the ball under our shoulder blades, and we'll bring our lightest loop band around the arches of our feet, setting up for some rectus abdominis work with marching for your hip flexors. Support the head with the hands interlaced. Take an arch over, inhaling, pressing the back ribs into the ball as you lift one leg up. Let's start with your non-dominant leg lifting with the foot dorsiflexed, and then you lower the leg and the upper body as you inhale. Brace the abs, pressing the back ribs in as you lift up on your exhale, and lowering on the inhale. Brace and lift on the exhale, and lower on your inhale, keeping a nice steady tempo. Brace, lift, inhale, lower. Abs come in and up as you brace and lift. Inhale, lower. Switch your leg. Keep that breathing going, remembering the contractions happening as you lift up. Make sure your tailbone is reaching away from you, accentuating that lumbar extension, but you're always supporting that extension with the contraction of the transverse abdominis by pulling your belly button in and lifting up on the muscles that stop your stream of pee. Think about that lift, or think about bracing the abs as if you're going to be punched in the gut. We're going to move from here onto our knees on the foam roller with a 3-pound weight and the ball between the inner thighs to engage those adductors. We'll do a 2-breath isometric hold with lateral flexion. Start with the weight in your non-dominant hand, side bending towards that weight, keeping your torso square to the wall in front of you, chin retracted, back of neck will be long. You can either turn your head to the side on the diagonal down or keep the chin retracted in the head between the arms, adding that bottom arm. Palms are facing one another, ribs are closed, sternum reaching towards the back body. That should be about 2 breaths. Bring yourself back upright. Continue to work as I give you these cues. Your alignment and your checkpoints are super important for really feeling the correct muscles, for contracting your transverse abdominis, and for maximizing your workout. So as you side bend, you lift your bottom arm up, increasing the load. We're conditioning your external obliques here, opening up your intercostals. The side body is very tight with flat back posture. We want to open up the side body, but also strengthen the QL and the external obliques. Bringing it back up to center, switching sides, preparing, inhaling, going over to the side bend, exhale, adding the bottom arm. Inhale 1, breathe, exhale 1. Inhale 2, exhale 2, inhale back to center. Exhale the air out and preparing, inhale side bend, add the bottom arm, exhale. Inhale 1, breathe, exhale 1. Inhale 2, brace those abs, exhale 2, close those front ribs. Inhale, brace the abs and pull yourself back to center. From here, we'll grab our heaviest Theraband, coming to a seated position. Dorsiflex those feet. Place the ball between the knees and the heaviest Theraband around the arches of the feet, grabbing the band with both hands. We're going to hinge back with a tall spine, imagining a metal rod from the tailbone all the way out the crown of the head. No rounding in the lumbar, tailbone pulling down towards the floor, chin retracted so the back of the neck is long. As you hinge back, bracing the abs, you'll inhale, pull the arms into an isometric row, keeping the shoulders down the back, collarbone wide, turning the head right, center, left, center. Inhale, prepare, brace the abs, exhale, back upright. Again, inhale, sit tall, exhale, brace the abs, hinging back, rowing. Inhale, turn the head right, center, left, center. Inhale, brace the abs, and come back up to a tall seat. 2 more sets. Moving on your breath, making sure you brace your abs as you go back. You inhale to turn the head side to side, brace the abs, come back upright. Inhale, prepare, brace the abs, take it back. Inhale to turn the head side to side, holding that isometric row, and brace those abs, lifting in and up to come back up to a seated position. You can set that band to the side. Great work. We'll come to lie prone for some slow swimming, working the upper back extensors. Extending opposite arm and leg, making sure the bony protrusions of the hips are pressing down into the floor and the low abs are lifting in and up towards the spine. Lift opposite arm and leg up. Hold it up. Inhale 1, breathe. Exhale 1. Inhale, brace the abs, and exhale, lower that down. Staying on this side. Inhale, brace the abs. Exhale, lift. Hold, inhale, brace the abs. Exhale, lower. Inhale, prepare. Abs in, lift in and up on the muscles that stop your stream of pee. Fog of air as you lift up. Palms should be facing in towards the face. Inhale. Brace those abs. Fog of air as you lower down. Still on the same side. Inhale. Brace the abs. Exhale to lift. Inhale. Brace the abs. Exhale to lower. Go ahead and switch sides. Be cognizant of those bony protrusions. The pelvis should be completely stable here. Think more about length than height as you lift up. Make sure the shoulders are staying on the back. Collarbone is wide, back of neck is long, chin is retracted. Optimal alignment here. Thinking about the sternum reaching towards the back body, even though it's on the floor, make sure you're not pushing those front ribs into the floor, that you're thinking about them pulling in towards the back body. As the belly button is pulling in towards the spine, we lift in and up on the muscles that stop our stream of pee. And the air comes out of the mouth. Inhale through your nose to prepare. Brace the abdominals to lift the upper back up, engaging the upper back extensors to combat kyphosis. Inhaling and controlling your lower. One more here. Inhale. Abs in. Contract. And lower on your next exhale. Take a quick swish of your hips side to side to release the low back. And then anchor those bony protrusions on your hips back down into the floor. Pull the belly button back in towards the spine. Inhale, lifting all limbs up. Exhale to flutter the arms and legs. Flutter, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Flutter, 2, 3, 4. Staying up. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Flutter. Go as quickly as you can with length, not worrying about the height, worrying about the brace of the abdominals, the sternum reaching towards the back body, the rib cage expanding sideways like an opera singer, lateral breathing, lots of length, pelvic stability, chin retracted, focus of the eyes, 1.5 feet in front of you, plugging the shoulders down the back. 2 more breaths. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, 4. Last breath. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, and lower with control, 2, 3, 4. We'll grab our 3-pound weight, come to a side lying position. You can be in a fetal position, placing the ball under your head as a support. Pin that top elbow on the side of your body, and make sure as you're holding that weight, your wrist is flat. We'll lift up on our exhale, and we'll lower on our inhale. Exhale, lift, 2, 3. Inhale, lower, 2, 3. Exhale, lift, 2, 3. Inhale, lower, 2, 3. Staying with this tempo, watching out for the elbow detaching from the side of the body, the wrists staying completely flat, the rib cage staying closed, sternum reaching towards the spine, belly button pulling in towards the spine. Deep lift of the lower abdominals, shoulders plugged down the back, collarbone is wide. Stay with this. Make sure you're also not collapsing into the side of the body that's down on the floor. Energy through the tailbone for some lumbar extension here. Tailbone reaching towards your feet, towards whatever wall is below you. Breathe, breathe, breathe. 2 more sets here. Bracing the abs to lift, 2, 3. Breathing laterally to lower, 2, 3. Again, pull the abs in, lift in and up. Keep the shoulder plugged down, collarbone wide, ribs closed. Inhale, lower, 2, 3. Setting up on the other side. Finding the tailbone reaching away from the body and slightly back for lumbar extension, the abs braced. And begin, once you are set up with your shoulders plugged down your back, collarbone wide, sternum reaching towards the back ribs. Exhale, bracing the abs to lift up. 2, 3. Inhale, lowering. 2, 3. This is a small movement. We're isolating the external rotator cuff. This should help combat the kyphosis that we see with flat back posture. Something to be aware of if you're feeling pain in the front of the shoulder, that can be for 2 reasons. 1, you're not squeezing the back muscles enough, or you're rounding in the front of the shoulder. The weight could be too heavy. If that's the case, you could do this just with body weight, or grab a can or something that's around 1 or 2 pounds. We'll also work on flexibility in the front of the shoulder. And once your anterior delt releases a bit, you should have less recruitment in the front of the shoulder and be able to access the external rotator cuff. From here, we're going to grab our heaviest band and we're going to put it around, we're going to place it around our top foot, coming into a side lying position. We'll be doing forward, forward, back, back, dorsiflexing the foot for an active hamstring stretch with the support of the band, holding it with your top arm. So you can rest your head down on that ball or the bicep here as we kick it forward, forward, and back, back, dorsiflexing the foot the entire time to combat the plantar flexion in the ankles and really, really open the hamstrings and calves that are overactive. So forward, forward, back, back, forward, forward, back, back, forward, forward, back, back. Keep that going. The goal here is to not move the trunk too much. Make sure you're not rocking back and forth, that you're stabilizing your torso by engaging the deepest layer of your core. One more time, forward, forward, back, back. Go ahead and we're going to switch sides, setting up for the leg work on the other side. This work is meant to also work the abdominals and actively stretch the hamstrings and combat the plantar flexion in the ankle. Keep going forward, forward, back, back, working for pelvic stability. Sometimes it's nice to bend that bottom knee into a fetal position because it gives you more leverage, but make sure when you do that, you don't round your low back, that you're still reaching the tailbone away from you, keeping lumbar extension with the brace of the abdominals. Continue with that dorsiflexion of the foot. Make sure the foot is flexing evenly. The band will help with this, and this heavy band will give you a little more support as you learn to move the leg through space without moving the torso, isolating just the leg. One more, forward, forward, back, back. We'll set the band down, grab our 3-pound weight, bring our knees onto the roller. Holding the weight in one hand and extending the opposite leg behind us. We'll pull that weight towards the hip on a 3 count, lifting it up, 2, 3, bringing it back down on our inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, lift, 2, 3. Notice I'm isometrically holding the leg behind me. Make sure the foot is dorsiflexed. Make sure your pelvis is square. The bony protrusions of the hips are pointing towards the floor. The toes of the knee that's down are down as well for stability. Your knee is tracking under your hip. Your wrist that's down is tracking under your shoulder. And we're working our lats here as we pull the arm back. So again, bracing the abs to lift, inhaling to lower. Keep your collarbone wide, the sternum reaching towards the back ribs. If the neck is straining, think about relaxation in the pecs and retraction of the chin. Give me a double chin to engage the muscles in the front of the neck to alleviate the tension in the back of the neck. Keeping that arm going, really working on that transverse abdominis, the dorsiflexion of the foot to combat plantar flexion in the ankle. Let's switch sides, passing the weight, extending the opposite leg, making sure the toes of the knee that's down are down as well. Watch out for hiking in the hips. Make sure one hip isn't higher than the other. Working on getting as even as possible. Brace those abs as you pull back The palm should be facing in towards the hips. Shoulders plug down the back, collarbone wide, abs lifting in and up. Every time that weight goes back, sternum reaches towards the back ribs, belly button pulls in towards the spine, and you fog a mirror as you brace your abs as if you're going to be punched in the gut. 2 more sets. Lifting up, 2, 3. Inhale down, 2, 3. Pull the abs in, lift in and up, and lift, 2, 3. Inhale, lower, 2, 3. Good job. We're going to grab our heaviest Theraband and our anti-burst ball. Coming to lie supine with the ball under the sacrum. Make sure, take your pointer fingers to the bony protrusions of the hips, guide them down, allowing your pelvis to droop over the ball so that you have lumbar extension. Brace your abs and take one leg in the air. Hooking the heavy Theraband around the foot, really dorsiflexing the foot to combat the plantar flexion in your ankles. We'll hold it here. Challenge yourself to reach the tailbone away from you, keeping lumbar extension, and to try to squeeze the front of the thigh to lift the kneecap so that you maximize the stretch in the hamstrings and calves here as we do our footwork. The feet are really important. We want to balance the feet and ankles in an effort to change the distribution of weight so there's not so much overactivity in the hamstrings and in the calves, and we can learn to use both the quads and the hip flexors more efficiently, balancing out the body. 15 more seconds here. Notice if you're flexing harder with the outer or inner edge of the foot, even that flexion of the foot, toes reaching towards the face, sternum reaching towards the back ribs. Go ahead and set up on the other side, making sure that you have one hand down at all times for balance purposes, that you're still reaching the tailbone away from you so that we don't get that rounding in the low back. That's a position we're in too often. The reason we elevate the pelvis is to allow it to droop over and to allow more curvature in the low back. This should feel great if you have chronic back pain, as long as you are bracing your abs as you're working. So as long as when you pull that leg towards you, the tailbone reaches away into extension and the abs pull in and up as if you're stopping your stream of pee. So active abs, proper pelvic position, dorsiflex that foot, check in with your breath. Inhale through the nose, breathing laterally into the rib cage. Pull the belly button in, lift up on those muscles that stop your stream of pee. Hold this lift, sustaining it through your exhale. Again, inhale through the nose, pull the belly button in towards the spine, lift up on the muscles that stop your stream of pee. Brace, sustain, exhale. We'll come to a seated position, placing the ball between the knees, grabbing our heavy Theraband, placing it around the feet, moving into some bow and arrow twisting to work your transverse abdominis, your hip flexors, your adductors, and combating the plantar flexion in the ankles. We'll hinge back with a tall spine, and we'll twist 2, 3, 4. Inhale, prepare, brace the abs, come back upright. Inhale, prepare, brace the abs, take it back, and twist 2, 3, 4. Inhale, prepare, brace the abs. Exhale, bring the body back upright. Continuing with this tempo, breathing in at the top, bracing the abs to hinge back, and twisting 2, 3, 4. Inhale, pause, brace the abs. Exhale, come back upright. Some checkpoints as you continue working. Are the inner thighs engaging? Are your feet staying flexed? Are your heels driving into the floor? Is there a line from the tailbone out the crown of the head, a nice diagonal? Are you reaching the tailbone towards the floor, creating some more extension in the low back like you found when you were lying on that anti-burst ball? Are your abs pulling in towards the spine to support the twisting? One arm should be coming forward as the other goes back, the head follows, turning in the direction of the elbow that's brushing by the side body and going back. Finish up your last one. We'll set that band to the side. Coming to lie supine on our foam roller, arms in cactus. This position can feel rather hard on the back with flat back posture. So I want you to take a moment to adjust to the spine being on the roller. From here, with the arms in cactus, opening up the front of the shoulders and the pecs, I want you to arch your low back, trying to create a mouse hole between the low back and the roller. This pelvic extension is what I want you to do your best to maintain as we work your quadriceps here. So what I'd like you to do is bring your hands down by your side for stability and stretch one leg out long. You're going to flex that foot and we're going to lift it up on a slow 3 count, taking it up to, not going to 90, going to about 70, squeezing the front of the thigh and lowering it down. 2, 3. Try to not wobble on the roller. Keep the roller still by lifting in and up on your abs. So exhale, lift, 2, 3. Inhale, lower, 2, 3. This is about core stability and quadricep strength. So focus on not moving that roller, keeping the sternum reaching towards the back ribs, the belly reaching in towards the spine, the pelvic floor muscles lifting in and up. Excellent. From here, switch sides, setting up for that quad single leg lift on the other side. Remind yourself the tailbone should be reaching away from you, down towards your heels, allowing some extension in the low back. I should be able to slide my hand between your low back and the roller. Try to not squash my fingers. Keep that space by tipping the tailbone down as if it were hanging over that anti-burst ball. Brace the abdominals. Dorsiflex the foot as you lift and lower. Remembering this is not about getting it up to 90. This is all about squeezing the front of the thigh and working the foot, keeping it in a nice dorsiflexed position. Give me 2 more on this side. Using the breath, bracing, exhale to lift, inhale to lower. Always feel welcome to slow down an exercise and only move on your exhale, meaning at the top you inhale again, you brace the abs, and you go down on your exhale, slowing it down even more to make sure the core is always connected to the movement to support it. From here, let's slide the other leg out, and this time we'll internally rotate it, keeping the dorsiflexion. This will allow us to access not only the quads, but the hip flexors, and open up the lateral hamstrings a little bit more. So again, it's not about height, it's about squeezing the front of the thigh, keeping the foot dorsiflexed, and keeping that internal rotation, not from the knee or ankle, but from the top of the hip socket. As you lift up, you count to 3. As you lower down to 3. So let's say you wanted to go only on your exhale because you do have chronic back pain and you're very worried about moving on your inhale when you're not bracing your abs. That would mean at the bottom, we'd inhale, prepare, reach the tailbone away, creating that mouse hole, brace the abs, lift the leg up, 2, 3, hold it up, inhale, pull the abs in, brace them, and lower down, 2, 3. Let's switch sides, moving into our lift for the quads and hip flexors. On the other side, internally rotating the leg in the hip socket, making sure to reach the tailbone away towards the heels, down, creating that lumbar extension. Dorsiflex the foot as we lift it up, 2, 3. We inhale at the top, bracing the abs. Exhale, lower, 2, 3. Pause at the bottom, inhale, reach the tailbone towards the heels, brace the abs, lift up, 2, 3. Pause at the top, breathing laterally, inhale. Keep the roller quiet, brace the abs, exhale, lower, 2, 3. Great job. From here, let's do a few sets of pelvic extension to neutral, just to release that back. We'll come off of the roller, grab our ball, place it back under our tailbone, and we'll move our pelvis, taking our pointer fingers to the bony protrusions of the hips, down, drooping over the ball, and back to neutral. Exhale down, supporting it with the contraction of the core on your exhale. Inhale, breathing laterally, sternum reaching towards the back body. Exhale, arch the back. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, arch. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, arch. Inhale, neutral. And last time, exhale, arch. Inhale, neutral. Good job. We're going to warm up before our cardio burst with a couple of stretches for the front of the shoulder. I'll have you move to the wall, bringing one arm into a V, start facing the wall, and twisting away from the wall. We'll be holding this stretch for a full minute because it's a postural stretch. Each breath is a chance to twist a little further with awareness of the checkpoint. Soft bend in the knees. Weight evenly distributed between the feet. Sternum reaching towards the back ribs, shoulders plugged down the back. Exhale to twist. Inhale, prepare, brace the abs. Exhale, twist. Moving only on your exhale, thinking about your inhale as a chance to check in with where everything is. Are the ribs spraying forward? Are the abs pulled in? Are the shoulders down the back? Is the chin retracted? Double chin. Go ahead and switch sides. Coming to your V wall stretch on the other side. Starting facing the wall. And then twisting. Breathe in through the nose. Brace the abs. And exhale. Twist deeply. Make sure as you're working, you're thinking about the breath and the connection of the contraction of the TVA to the movement deeper into the stretch. So soft bend in your knees, equal weight distribution in the feet. Inhale, pull the abs in, lift up on the muscles that stop your stream of pee. Exhale, fog of air. Twist deeply. We'll move back to the first side, bringing our arm into a W or a cactus goalpost position and twisting away. We'll get into the pec minor here. Same idea of soft bend in the knees, tailbone reaching down and back, little lumbar extension, abs are pulled in and up, sternum is reaching towards the back body, shoulders are plugged down the back, collarbone is wide, chin is retracted. Inhale, pull your abs in, tug up on the muscles that stop your stream pee and fog a mirror as you exhale, twisting deeper. Switching sides, setting up for our final wall stretch before we learn our cardio burst exercises. Quality of stretching is important, so think about the quality of the movement. Never push yourself into a stretch quickly. The front of the shoulder especially is very delicate and we wouldn't want to pull anything. So moving on the breath will guarantee safety. Inhale, brace the abs, and exhale, twist from the torso. Soft bend in your knees, tailbone reaching back, feeling that lumbar extension, but the lift in and up of those lower abdominals. Your chin's retracted, back of neck is lengthening. You're using the wall to leverage and press to twist deeper. So from here, we're going to need our lightest loop band and our lightest Theraband, and we're going to set up and learn our exercises. So I'd like you to do these exercises at 50% effort as you're learning them, and then we'll take them up to 100% when we begin our cardio burst. The first exercise will be done in the frontal plane, which is traveling side to side. You'll take your lightest loop band and bring it around your ankles, and we'll start with 4 oblique crunches on the same side, and then we'll do a gallop step with the accent being up. So we're going up, engaging those hip flexors as we press and using the quadriceps, feeling the heels really pressing as well. And then we repeat on the other side. So whatever direction you've traveled, that's where you'll do your cactus arms and your loaded oblique crunch. Make sure the foot that's coming up is dorsiflex. This will guarantee proper knee traction and recruitment of your hip flexors. So 4, and then your gallop with the accent up step. And 4, gallop up, accent step. Go at your own tempo right now, remembering We're learning the exercises, making sure you can do the movement confidently so that when we take it up to 100% effort, you're ready. One more time. So now we're going to learn our exercise in the transverse plane. Transverse plane is where 90% of injuries occur, and this is when we turn. We'll be doing a quarter turn, marching, keeping the loop band around the ankles, dorsiflexing the feet, and we'll swing the arms. Give me 8 marches, and then we'll do 8 punches on the diagonal, going from low to high, alternating sides. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back into our marches, dorsiflexing the foot, bringing it around. For the sake of recruiting our hip flexors and learning the movement, let's not swing our arms now. Let's just hold our hands on our hips, and we'll move our arms when we do our punches, but we'll focus on the legs, the dorsiflexion of the feet, the lift of the legs. The tailbone reaching back is really important here so that we don't slip into pelvic flexion. So tailbone back, abs braced to find lumbar extension as you lift the leg that's loaded with the light loop band. Our final exercise in the sagittal plane, we'll grab our lightest Theraband, taking it behind us with the palms forward. We'll pull out on it and we'll dorsiflex and dig our heels into the ground, alternating as we go forward, working on the plantar flexion in the ankles, combating that, and getting our heart rate up as we do 8 alternating heel digs forward. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll stand with both feet on solid ground, soft bend in the knees, and we'll alternate 4 times lateral flexion, pulling out on the band. 4, 3, 2, 1, and we'll repeat going back, pulling out on the band with both arms, heel digs traveling back. Really dorsiflex your foot. Each foot should be dorsiflexing, toes reaching towards the face, heels should feel the weight. And then your lateral flexion, you pull out on the band on the side you're bending towards. Let's set up for our first exercise burst in the frontal plane. Putting the loop band around your feet. Remembering that this is our oblique crunch 4 times and our gallop step. Okay, counting you in. 3, 2, 1, go. 100% effort here. 4 oblique crunches. Thinking about a sternum reaching towards the back ribs, shoulders plugging down the back. Really, range of motion here is important too. Really side bend, engaging the external obliques. Remember your gallop, the accent up. Feel your heels pressing into the floor. Make sure that foot stays dorsiflexed to keep the knee safe. Try and not press your rib cage forward. Try to keep it closed. You're doing great. Remember, 100% effort. This is for your heart health. This is for your endurance. This will alleviate stress. 10 more seconds, counting you down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take your recovery. I don't want you to sit down, but you're welcome to get water or take a stretch if you need to stretch. But we want the heart to drop back down. We're taking minute recoveries. As you work with us, we'll take those recoveries down to 30 seconds to continue helping you increase your endurance for your heart health. You've got 20 more seconds before we set up for our second set in the frontal plane at 100% effort. Remember, we're only doing 6 full out bursts, so you've got to give it all you've got. Counting you in. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and go. 4 oblique crunches, collarbone wide, sternum reaching towards the back ribs, dorsiflexed foot. Accent is up on the gallop, transition step to the side. Moving in the frontal plane with awareness. Dorsiflexion in that foot as you do your oblique crunches. We're targeting your external obliques. We're building strength in those long, weak hip flexors. This will pull you back into perfect posture, combating that plantar flexion in the ankles. Check in with your breath. Breathe naturally. Watch out for holding the breath because that's not going to allow oxygen to the muscles we're working. Keep the shoulders down the back. Tuck your chin so the back of the neck is long and the front of the neck, which is very underactive, the neck flexors are working. Any chance we get, we want to work the front of the neck because that keeps the back of the neck and the side of the neck where we overwork safe. Counting you down. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, rest. While we're recovering here, I'll remind you of our next exercise in the transverse plane. This is our turning plane where 90% of injuries occur. We keep the loop band around our feet, hands on our hips, and we march, taking a turn with dorsiflexed feet. After 8 marches, we stand in place with a soft bend in the knees, and we go from low to high with alternating punches. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then we repeat. You're going to give me 100% effort. The National Heart Association says between 4 to 8 bursts 3 times a week is the minimum individuals need to do for heart health. That's with a 3 to 5 minute recovery and a 3 to 5 minute warm-up. We're doing 6 bursts today. You've done an excellent warm-up and you'll do an excellent recovery. So give it all you got. I'm counting you in. 5, 4, 3, 2, go. Marching, dorsiflexing the foot, hands on the hips. Once you get around and you've done 8 marches, you do your 8 punches, going from low to high, crossing the body, engaging the transverse abdominis. Remember to brace the abs, reach the tailbone back for your lumbar extension. Always keep the knees soft so we're not bowing out or rolling out, supinating, or plantar flexing and rolling forward. We've got to get the weight distribution in the feet and ankles correct. This will affect the whole chain and perfecting your posture. Check in with your breath. As you're working, are your feet flexing, dorsiflexing as you do those marches? Lift up through your center. Make sure the tailbone isn't rounding under as you march. Reach that tailbone back. Lumbar extension. Brace the abs. You're doing great. Give it 100% effort. Make sure you're breathing. Counting you down. 3, 2, 1. Take your break. Excellent work. As I said, the National Heart Association says between 4 to 8 bursts 3 times a week is the minimum one needs to do for heart health. We're doing 6 bursts today. We have our recoveries of a full minute, and as you work with us, we'll cut those recoveries down to 30 seconds, really conditioning the heart for your health long term. Take water here. Just make sure you don't sit down. We're conditioning the heart to handle stress and anxiety. This is the most time-efficient way to do cardio, and you're burning just as many calories because of the intensity level. So you've got 10 seconds, and we're going to repeat our exercise in the transverse plane. Counting you in. 5, 4, 3, 2, go. 100% effort. Give it all you got. Dorsiflex those feet. Reach the tailbone back. Lumbar extension with braced abs. Make sure those cross punches are quick and you're not moving your hips or legs. The twisting is happening in the torso. You're bracing your abdominals. Really recruiting the transverse abdominis, lifting in and up on those muscles that stop your stream of pee without tucking your pelvis under, keeping that tailbone tipping back, being aware of the chin retraction, working those neck flexors to alleviate the back of the neck tension and pain. Thinking about the rib cage. What's happening? Are the ribs pressing forward, or are you able to keep the sternum reaching towards the back ribs? This will help you access your upper back muscles to combat the kyphosis, and it'll also help you find the lower abdominals as you lift in and up, contracting your transverse abdominis. Counting you down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take your break. Water. Stand still. Take a stretch if something's feeling like it needs it, but don't sit down. I'll remind you of our final exercise, moving in the sagittal plane forward and back. For this one, we just need our lightest Theraband. Can remove that light loop band. And we'll be moving forward and back, pulling out on the band as we travel forward and back, digging the heels down, alternating heel digs with dorsiflexed feet. And at the top and the bottom of the mat, we'll do lateral flexion with a soft bend in the knees, alternating sides. Palms are forward. You pull out on the band on the side you're bending towards. Make sure there's no rounding in the front of the shoulders as you pull out. Sternum's reaching towards the back body. Upper back's engaged. You'll access your external obliques and your QL as you bend side to side. And then as we travel back, we'll work on combating that plantar flexion in the ankles and elevating the heart rate as we pull out on the band and lift in and up on the lower abs. Here we go. Counting you in 3, 2, 1. 100% effort. 8 heel digs traveling forward. Try to keep the legs hip distance apart. They may creep in closer to your center line, but if they stay hip distance apart, you have more of that center core back stability working for you. Then it gets very tricky when you get narrow. You will feel the adductor line pulling in and up to help you with your balance if you choose to go very narrow with the feet. But since we are starting at level 1 here, I'd like you to keep the legs hip distance if at all possible. Nice dorsiflexed feet. Remember, the palms are facing forward as you pull out on that band, engaging those external obliques, alternating sides. 100% effort. Really go, 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 go. Push yourself more than you think you can. Counting you down. 5, 4, 3, 2, rest. This is our final recovery before our final burst. Only 1 more minute to go, and then we get to stretch. So I want you to really work hard for this next minute. Be cognizant of those checkpoints, your dorsiflexion in your feet, your legs staying hip distance apart, your arms long by your sides, pulling out on the band as you travel forward and back. When you pull out on that band and the palms are behind you and facing forward, you retract your serratus anterior, and this is your shoulder blade anchor. This is what will combat the rounding in the front of the shoulders, bringing you into optimal alignment, taking away that kyphotic position in the upper body. Make sure you're breathing here. I'm going to count you in. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. Give it all you've got. 100% effort. You should be sweating. Make sure you're breathing. Dorsiflex those feet, hip distance apart, toes reaching towards the face, abs pulling in towards the spine, sternum reaching towards the back body, collarbone wide, shoulders plugged down the back. Really go far on those side bends, pulling out on the band on the same side you're bending towards. Keep a soft bend in the knees when you're stationary at the top and bottom of your mat, doing your lateral flexion. We don't want to lock out. We don't want to roll out on the feet or move into that plantar flexion in the ankles that is so prevalent in flat back posture. You're doing great. 20 seconds to go. Really focus. 100% effort. Breathe. Collarbone wide, sternum reaching towards the spine. Close those ribs. Lift in and up on the muscles that stop your stream of pee. Breathe. Counting you down. 3, 2, 1. Great job. We'll begin our flexibility portion of flat back posture. We're going to take all of our equipment, setting it to the side, and moving to a wall for a deep calf stretch. Facing the wall, stepping 1 foot back, looking over your shoulder, making sure that that leg is parallel. The foot is parallel. We'll drive the hips forward as we drive the heel down, bracing the abdominals, keeping the tailbone reaching back for a little lumbar extension. The calves, especially the gastrocnemius, the center of the calf, is very tight with flat back posture. So we spend a full minute releasing this tight area. We'll do a minor adjustment, internally rotating this leg in the hip socket so we get into the outer calf as well as the gastrocnemius. You'll notice the outer calf, your peroneal stretching now. We've still got a deep bend in the front knee. Equal pressure between the heel and the metatarsals of the front foot so the knee tracks safely. The abs are pulling in and up. The hips are pressing forward towards the wall in front of you. Take your focus up, eye level. Plug the shoulders down your back. Collarbone is wide. 30 more seconds here. If this stretch doesn't feel as tight as having your leg parallel, you can revisit the parallel position on the same side. Play around with where you feel the most stretch. So it may be with that internal rotation and it may be parallel. 10 more seconds here, lifting in and up on the muscles that stop your stream of pee, and as you exhale, driving the heel down and the pelvis forward. Go ahead and switch sides, setting up with your feet hip distance apart, stepping the opposite leg back, taking a moment to look over your shoulder and make sure that leg, foot are perfectly parallel as we begin our gastrocnemius stretch, driving the pelvis forward and the heel down on our exhale, making sure there's equal weight in that front foot so the knee tracks safely. Feel the inner and outer edge of the foot, the metatarsals, and the heel grounding into the floor. Inhale through your nose, pull your abdomen in, drive the heel down as the pelvis drives forward. You're doing great. Getting a nice stretch for that central calf muscle. We did a lot of good work in our cardio burst today, and we want to make sure we stretch out those muscles to lengthen the body. 10 more seconds here. Breathing into the gastric stretch, driving the pelvis forward and the heel down. We're going to readjust, moving into our peroneal stretch on this side, internally rotating the leg from the top of the hip socket so you can actually take your pointer finger to the bony protrusion of the hip of the leg you have back and guide it inward so that the rotation is not happening from the knee or ankle, but from the hip socket. From there, pelvis presses forward, focus of eyes is up eye level, sternum is reaching towards the back body, shoulders are plugged down the back. You've got a nice right angle with your front foot because you're bending into it with your front leg. Just make sure the knee isn't tracking beyond the metatarsals, that it's tracking right over the second and third toe. Inhale, abs come in, lift up on the muscles that stop your stream of pee and drive the hips forward and the heel down at the same time, exhaling the air out. Connecting with deep abdominal contractions will allow you to condition the deepest layer of your core to alleviate low back pain while maximizing your time and stretching out your tight postural muscles. One more breath. We'll move into a T-pec stretch, wall stretch. You're going to bring one arm out to a T, soft bend in the knees, starting to twist away from that arm. In our warm-up before our cardio burst, we opened up the pec minor and the anterior delts and bicep, and now we're getting into the pec major, all of which are active due to the kyphosis and the forward position we are in our seated posture and the rounding in the shoulders that happens from computer work, office work. You've got about 10 more seconds here. Inhale, brace the abs, rotate a little deeper on the exhale. Again, inhale laterally, pull the abs in, lift up on the muscles that stop your stream of pee, and fog a mirror as you twist deeper. Let's move to the other side, setting up, facing the wall, soft bend in the knees, begin your rotation. Twisting away from the arm, looking away from the arm. Notice if the chin is poking forward. Retract your chin, engage the neck flexors. Reach the sternum towards the back body, and now focus on the deep abdominal contractions. Inhale, pull the abs in, lift in and up on those muscles that stop your stream of pee, brace, and exhale, twist. Inhale, abs in, lift in and up on those muscles that stop your stream of pee, brace them, and exhale, twist. One more time, lateral breath, abs in, hold those muscles in and up, and fog a mirror as you deepen your twist. We're going to move to a lat release with the foam roller sideline. You can grab your ball to place on your bicep to rest your head down on. This usually feels nice. Some people think it's a little high and it doesn't feel good to the neck. If that is you, then grab a pillow. That might be more comfortable. From here, you can play with the leverage of lifting the pelvis up by bending one knee and having the foot down so that you have more weight as you roll forward and back, getting into the fascia under the armpit where the lat attaches. You can also play with twisting the torso forward and back. Typically, I find that my flat back posture clients feel most of the release when they twist back. So it's a posterior area and where the lat attaches and the fascia you're working that's typically very, very tight. So play around with the angle, play around with moving forward and back. And once you find tender areas, really dig in as much as you can tolerate. Self-myofascial release is to stimulate the Golgi tendon organ, and this sends a neuromuscular message back, releasing muscles that are tight. It's a great way to get more range of motion and improve your posture. All right, let's switch sides. Moving to the other lat, setting up, supporting the head, tuck your chin, keep the front of the neck engaged. Even in this side lying position, we should be bracing our abs. Our tailbone should be reaching away. We should find lumbar extension and that optimal position for our pelvis to alleviate chronic back pain. Keep using your abs to move yourself forward and back. Be aware of any knots that you come across. You can do a little circular motion, digging the body into the roller. Again, as I said, with flat back posture, twisting back, you'll probably find some very tight fascia. Work through that, breathing. Inhale, abs in, brace, and roll that fascia out. Again, inhale, abs in, lift in and up on the muscles that stop your stream of pee, and fog a mirror as you roll that tight area out. From here, we'll come to a seated position. Placing one leg on the roller, we'll roll out the calves and the hamstrings unilaterally. So one leg at a time. Using our hands behind us, we'll have to engage our back. Fingertips can face the buttocks or out to the side. Keep a soft bend in the elbow. If this is too intense, you can always put your other foot down, or you can roll both legs together. Only you know what you can tolerate. Remember, this is meant to not be comfortable because we are working out knots in the body. But if at any point it feels unbearable, you need to modify. Put one foot down, don't put as much pressure, put both legs on. That takes a lot of the pressure off. Unilateral rolling is more intense than double leg rolling. We only have 5 more seconds here and then we'll switch. So we're rolling out the calf, and then option to go up to the hamstring if you want to get into that fascia. Go ahead and switch sides. Playing around with getting into the calf fascia and also getting into the hamstring. It's nice to engage the upper back here as you're walking forward and back. You get a nice workout. It's a modified reverse bridge, which is meant to engage the center of the back, the triceps, and when the feet are down, the glutes. So breathe here, working on releasing those calves and hamstrings, those overactive calves and hamstrings. Couple more breaths, keeping the abs braced, the tailbone reaching back, the arms active, soft bend in the elbows. Find your final spot, take a deep breath, inhale, abs in, lift in and up on those muscles that stop your stream of pee, and fog a mirror with your exhale. From here, we're going to lie supine, placing the ball under our head and grabbing our heaviest Theraband. Placing it around the arch of the foot. We'll keep our other foot down on the floor. Actually, let's keep it down on the floor. I want you to find lumbar extension, reaching the tailbone towards the feet, creating that mouse hole between your low back and the floor, dorsiflexed foot. We're doing our final stretch for the hamstrings and calves here, really flexing the foot, breathing into that stretch. Deep inhale and exhale. Good, inhale and exhale. One more time, inhale and exhale. Go ahead and switch sides. Setting up. Dorsiflexing the foot, reaching the tailbone away towards the feet, creating that mouse hole. Sternum reaching towards the back body, collarbone wide, chin retracted. Maximize this stretch here. Really flex the foot, squeeze the front of the quadricep. So when we did our hamstring and footwork lying with the ball under our sacrum, it was easier to keep the extension in the low back. Here, you really have to bring awareness to what's happening, making sure you're not flattening the low back into the floor, putting pressure on the lumbar, We want to create that space. So every time you exhale and pull the leg closer, you have to remind yourself that tailbone needs to reach away from me. I need to keep that low back arched without pushing the belly out. So brace those abs as you do this. We'll end with a psoas release, taking the ball and slipping it under the tailbone. Pointer fingers to the bony protrusions of the hips. Exhale, bracing the abs, moving the pelvis into extension, arching. From here, one hand down on the floor, one hand grabs your shin, and the other leg straightens out. Inhale one, breathe, squeezing the front of the thigh, making sure the foot is on the ground, not lifted up in the air. We're opening up the hip flexor after all that cardio burst work with the light loop band loading, engaging those hip flexors. Inhale and exhale. One more breath here. Inhale and exhale. Let's switch sides. Setting up on the other side. Bringing the knee to the chest. Tailbone reaching away. Finding that lumbar extension. Inhale one, breathe. Exhale one. Inhale two. Exhale two. Inhale three. Sternum reaching towards the back body. Exhale three. And go ahead and bring both feet to the ground. Bring your pointer fingers to the bony protrusions of your hips. Give me 2 extension to neutral pelvis movements. So exhale to extension. Brace the abs. Inhale back to neutral. Exhale to extension. Inhale back to neutral. And now tick-tock the hips side to side. Going to 9 o'clock, center, to 3 o'clock, center. And 9 o'clock, center. And 3 o'clock, center. Isolating that pelvic movement. And 9, center. Exhale, 3. Inhale, center. Exhale, 9. Inhale, center. And last time, exhale, 3, center. Great job.